Hello guys, my name is Missing Utah and welcome back to another video. I'm here to talk about something that's been nagging me for a while. Future Trunks. Now don't get me wrong, I love Future Trunks. I think a lot could have been done with him. He has a lot of potential. But when you really break it down, he's basically completely useless in any actual fight. So, yeah. Trunks is useful because, yes, he told everyone about the androids. They were going to come. But really, after that, he could have just left. And people would have probably missed him, but but the story, the plot, wouldn't have had to change. Here's what I'm talking about. So, Trunks' first fight, he fights Mecha Frieza King Cold. Saves the world. That's pretty awesome, but it's not something he needed to do. Why? Because Goku said that he could feel their ki. He could have easily teleported back with instant transmission, and in the future timeline, he did. And he was far more powerful than Trunks, so he could have easily killed both Mecha Frieza and King Cold with one hand tied behind his back while doing a jig. So Future Trunks did not need to come to fight Frieza and King Cold. But that's nothing, I hear you saying. What about the androids? Well, we didn't need to come to fight those either. If they set that android free, it will be the end of all of us. No! As much as the next guy, but he didn't really do anything in that fight. First of all, he not only did not hurt the androids with his strongest attack, but he was actually surprised by this, even though he knew that even his own timeline's androids were more than twice as strong as future Gohan, who's usually believed to be more powerful than he is at this point in the series. So I don't get why he was so surprised. Also, even the body of Android 18, the weakest android, was able to chip Trunks' sword. So, yeah. Pretty epic fail there. If Trunks had not been there, then the Z-Fighters still would have lost their fight with the androids just as quickly. Because Trunks was beaten in one hit, he maybe added about 5 seconds to the Z-Fighter survival time. But that's before he trained the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, you noob, I hear you saying. If he hadn't trained with Vegeta, then nothing would have happened there. Cell would have killed everyone. Game over, right? Well, no. While it would have been a stretch, I think that they could have made it so Vegeta could have achieved the level of power he had on his own. And although you'd think Trunks added twice the power to the fight, because Vegeta wouldn't let him join in, Trunks was unable to add anything to these events. When he tried to stop Semi-Perfect Cell, all he did was delay the plot. He didn't actually manage to stop Semi-Perfect Cell. He didn't even manage to defeat him, despite the fact that he was perfectly willing to attack Vegeta, and Cell was much weaker than he was at that point. When Cell became perfect, he didn't try to use his only trump card until after Vegeta was already defeated, stopping them from double-teaming him. And even when he did use it, the third-grade Super Saiyan form, Cell wasn't hurt by it. Cell managed to beat it pretty quickly. Even he could do it. And Trunks surrendered. He didn't even fight to the end. And I hear you saying that if Trunks hadn't been there, then that form wouldn't have existed. I have two things to say to that. First, I think it's completely within character for Vegeta that Vegeta would also be stupid enough to use a form like that, even if it reduces speed. Because he wouldn't realize this. That's in character for Vegeta. And second, third grade Super Saiyan is literally the least iconic Super Saiyan form in the entire series. I think it might be even less iconic than the false Super Saiyan. I think it's at most tied with the false Super Saiyan. It might be below that. And when a form's below the false Super Saiyan, that's a dark, dark day. So, but because the reason is This is the only time it's ever used. It's never used to win a battle again. So now he fights the Cell Juniors. And if Trunks hadn't been there, then Cell would have just made one less baby. He would have made one less baby with his baby making skills, and everything would have turned out the same, because he wasn't actually trying to kill the Z Fighters. I don't think. He just wanted to make it look like he was. And even then, Trunks didn't beat a Cell Jr. He was just equal to one at best. But the final nail in the coffin for this is when Trunks actually does get to fight Cell. What happens? Well, this happens when Cell becomes super perfect. Cell does a surprise attack on Trunks, and he dies. Yeah, he freaking dies. But that is not it, guys. Because we're going to go into movies and specials. So, the first real movie, not a special, the first movie that Trunks appears in, the first movie, very annoying, is Super Android 13, in which he fights Android 14. Due to the character's appearances, but the fact that Piccolo is fused with Kami, I believe that this movie would have to take place immediately after Piccolo fused with Kami, which I know is impossible. I might make a movie on my beliefs about this. I might make an episode on my belief about this later. But anyway, he defeats Android 14, but since his power levels are, like I said, his appearance hasn't changed and his forms haven't changed, so its power level is basically the same as what it was when he fought 18. So that's just more of a statement on how pitifully weak 14 was than how strong Trunks is. And even then, 14 may have been intentionally weak. He was just parts for Android 13. He was his glorified Lego bin. And if Trunks hadn't destroyed 14 so easily, then we might not have had to deal with Super Android 13. If 13 had just died first, then everything would have been easy. Super Android 13 would never have formed, and everything would have been fine. But because of Trunks and Vegeta, Super Android 13 was born. And Trunks not only was owned by Super Android 13 just like anyone else, but if you've seen the Big Green dub, you know that Trunks delivers possibly one of the worst lines in dubbing history while fighting Super 13. Just look up Big Green dub, Big Green dub, and nothing can change destiny. You'll have a good time. Next up, plan to eradicate the Super Saiyans. So, first of all, not only does Trunks stop Goku from facing Frieza, that's his first sin. He takes Frieza for himself and stops Goku from facing him. And I guess technically and you could say that all these people were going after the guys who killed them, but that's shaky grounds at best, considering I think Vegeta fought either Turles or Lord Slug, and he never even saw either of them. And also, we know from movies that even though Trunks killed him, Frieza still hates Goku more. But even then, he did not figure out the weakness of the Destron gas on his own. All he did was get owned. And then when he fought Hachiyak, he got wrecked like everyone else. And at this point, he almost didn't even need to be there, because he was the second weakest in the group. Only Piccolo was weaker than him at that point, and even then, not by much in my opinion. Now for Broly the legendary Super Saiyan. So Trunks once again got weak. Not only did Trunks kind of get screwed over here, I'll be honest, I don't really even remember what Trunks did, how Trunks got beaten in the movie. It was that bad. All I remember was Trunks giving his energy to Goku. Yeah, that's pretty sad. And I know this is the Broly movie where everybody got owned, but still. The only reason Future Trunks even came was that he was worried that Vegeta was being tricked. in my opinion, there was no reason for him to worry that a group of people as weak. He could sense ki. There was no reason for him to worry about someone as weak as Paragus, in my opinion. But that's just me, I guess. But still, Trunks did not accomplish anything of note in this movie. Even Vegeta had something added to his character in this movie. Heck, even Piccolo accomplished something. At least he got a new ability, even if it was a stupid one. I can hear through space. BoJack Unbound is next on the list. And at this point, I'm pretty sure you can guess what our ending part will be. But, basically, all Trunks did in this movie was he had an even battle with Tension on. And I know he was in his base form, but for any Saiyan at that point in the series, having an even battle with a human is humiliation in the extreme. Let's be honest here. Then he fought Kogu, and he defeated Kogu, but Kogu was pitifully weak. I don't know how he even got into BoJack's crew. He was basically the Android 14 of BoJack's crew. But then he got one shot by BoJack, and when he woke up, he didn't really get to do anything. All he did, as I recall, was he fought... I think he fought like Beto or something, but didn't manage to beat him before getting energy bound and then he was defeated by that. But the last movie on the list is the worst one. Future History of Trunks. The part where Trunks is most useless is his own special. As you can see, he just got killed right there. So basically what he does is he fanboys over Gohan, gets trained by him, gets beaten by Future Android 18 in a single shot, and then in his next battle, tries to join the next battle, but gets hit by Gohan and defeated, and when he wakes up again, his mentor is dead, he becomes a Super Saiyan for the first time, but then he is defeated so easily by the androids that he can't even hurt even Future Android 18. Trunks just can't seem to hurt Android 18. But see, that is how useless Trunks is. Even in his own special, he cannot catch a break. Heck, this isn't even the only place where... Like, you could go even further. Like, even in video games, Trunks is useless. Like, in Shin Budokai, Trunks arrives only as fan service. He accomplishes nothing in Shin Budokai. Even in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Xenotrunks is only one scene where he fights alongside you. Other than that, he provides you with useful intel, but that is something any of the other time controllers could do. Like, the Supreme Kai Time could do that just as easily. And I know it was a cool idea to have Trunks in there, but in the universe, he was kind of useless there. Because Trunks was still not even as powerful as Cell. The only time where Future Trunks is of any use is in Dragon Ball Heroes. Because both Future and Xeno Trunks are Super Saiyan 3s in that game. But even then, this is the game where everyone and their mom is a Super Saiyan 3, and Broly is a Super Saiyan 4 and has a boosted level beyond that. So that doesn't really mean anything at all. This has been Missing Utano. I'm going to see you later when I stop crying over my crushed dreams.